afternoon, guys. It's your boy Samar here again. Taking a break for a minute. It's lunchtime. Getting ready to grab something to eat and continue my day after that. But anyway, I was sitting here planning before lunch, and I was thinking, I was like, hey, this would be a good opportunity to show again some of my superintendents that are just starting out, my lead guys, my foremen, and some electricians about a system that I use that really helps with underground, especially when you have enough time to plan in the beginning. You can get your conduits and everything where they need to go and where they need to be stubbing up at. So where do you start? What do you do? There's a system that's been used. It's not something I made up. It's an old system. It's just gotten better over the course of the last couple of years, and it's called, people call it different things: conduit schedule, conduit wire, locator sheet. And what it is, it allows you to look at your drawing, see where you want to stub up your home runs from your panel, and then also allows you to list what is in those conduits that you're stubbing up, how many wires. You can even include the length of that run in your on your spreadsheet, and also you could include how many 90s you're going to be using. I mean, you could get real deep into detail with it, but I'm just going to show you the basics. And the reason why I think this is important for a lot of foremen, electricians that are coming in and wanting to, take it to the next level, is that it gives you a good starting point for your layout, and it also helps with getting familiar with the project, getting familiar with the panels, getting familiar with the wall types, because not only do you have to look at the electrical, you also have to look at the architectural and the floor plan to figure out where you want to stub up and figure out where you want to tie things in. So in reality, by doing this in the beginning of the project, when you have the time, and you're able to go through it, and you're able to go through it thoroughly, which I promise you I'll show you, and I'll co-sign on this, is perfect. It helps out a lot. You get familiar. You're in the drawings. You're knee deep in there. You're looking at the walls. You're looking at the circuitry. You're in there. You're in it to win it. You're active, right? Second, it allows you to do an inventory about how much wire or conduit you need for a particular area, so you can start planning for those areas. So if you got 5 or 6 guys coming out there, you utilize this sheet, you filter it down to, how much pipe do I need, 3/4, 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch, and you can have all that material ready. And last, it also helps with getting your guys hitting the ground running. As I told you guys before, we've done away with paper drawings, so everything is on either an iPad, laptop, desktop. And you could take a helper, 30-year apprentice, second-year apprentice, and you could give him this information and have him run with it. And all you would have to do is go back and you can check, okay, this conduit is done, this conduit is done, this conduit is done. And of course, for my seasoned electricians, yeah, of course, that's what you want to do. But doing it this way, in my opinion, in my experience, has helped me a lot. Because if you miss something, you can say, okay, I didn't check it off. Or if you do run something that nobody labeled or identified, you can say, okay, what is supposed to be stubbed up in this area? Oh, okay, this is circuit 1, 3, or 5 coming out of panel L1. But anyhow, I'm going to grab something to eat. I'm going to take lunch, and then I'm going to do the video, and I'm going to show you guys real quick. It's very simple. You need Bluebeam and Excel, obviously. And it's telling you, it's a great tool to use. I encourage anybody to use it. However you want to do your descriptions or designation, it's totally up to you. But I'm just going to give you a baseline to start from, and then you can take this and you can run with it. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, before we get started, I want to just do a quick video explaining the importance of, or how important it is to develop a conduit and wiring schedule, just to build some context around when you see the examples that I'm going to give. you'll better understand what we're talking about and how it can greatly benefit you productively and efficiently on the project. So we're gonna go over a couple of things. I'm not gonna make this video too long. I'm just gonna cover the basics, and then we'll get into the presentation right after this. So this will be your step-by-step guide on developing your conduit and wire schedule. As you can see, here's an example of a quick shot of how it's going to look. The Bluebeam drawings that are, or the drawings that are set up on Bluebeam, also used in Excel. All right. Creating a conduit and wire schedule is a crucial step for efficiently managing electrical project. Here's a streamline approach using Bluebeam and Excel based on your description of the items that you will include on your schedule. So a couple of things we're going to talk about. Obviously, you want to get your drawings together. If you have Bluebeam, you need to have Bluebeam. It's a great tool, or you can even use Adobe if you want, but Bluebeam is way better. We're going to create your Excel spreadsheet based on the items that we're going to talk about. Then we're going to input that data, calculate distance and wire size. This will help us track inventory, and you will understand that here in a little bit why that is very, very important. And then you can review and adjust as needed. You see things coming up, things change. You can go back to your sheet, change a few things if you need to based on the conditions of the site or the activity that you're performing. And then we're also going to discuss briefly the benefits of this system. So obviously first you want to get all your drawings together. Ensure that you have all relevant electrical drawings readily available. This includes plans detailing conduit runs, panel location, and circuit specification. Additionally, consider including the architectural drawings for the floor plan and the reflective ceiling plan to provide a comprehensive overview of the project. This is very important, and this also helps you study the drawings even more, understanding where you're going to be stubbing up at, understanding what size of the wall, how, if it's a 3 5/8, if a hatch channel wall. You'll know these things because you've already went through your electrical drawings to see your stub ups and see where they're going to go, and you can understand exactly what you're working with way ahead of the project ever being started, or this activity being started, if you have the time when you first get out there, and hopefully you will have the time. So obviously we want to set up Bluebeam for markups. Here's an example of the drawing that I'm going to be using, where and I'll zoom in later on the video, where I started doing my layout for my feeders. So you want to open the drawings, you want to load your electrical drawings in Bluebeam like we talked about, and you'll have all these tools on the side, plus there's some additional tools here. This is just a snippet that I pulled from a screenshot I was doing. And I will do a video on Bluebeam to show some of the newer guys who don't have any experience with Bluebeam or Excel, just starting out. I get it. It's very, very easy. It's very user-friendly, and it'll definitely save you a lot of time. And then obviously we're going to add our markups using the markup tool to highlight conduit paths and associated circuits. This can help you visualize your schedule. So you can look at a drawing, you can see a bird's eye view, then you can go to your conduit locator sheet and you can be like, okay, I need to pull this. I don't have this pulled yet. I don't have this ran yet. And it will help you a lot. Next thing we're going to talk about, creating your Excel spreadsheet. This is an example, another snapshot of a conduit locator sheet where, we'll have our descriptions here. We'll have our conduit size. And obviously I'm still working on this one because I don't have all the links plugged in yet, but you get the idea. And then you have your circuits and what panel they're coming out of. Great, great tool to use when you're setting up for underground. And some of the things you want to include in your column setup are conduit number, circuit number, estimated distance, wire size, panel destination. And you want to probably include something for when you get ready to pull wire, you'll have a status. I either pull this wire or haven't. This will help you check everything off to make sure that you have everything accounted for. And also you want to add a section if you want for location notes or any other notes that you want to have not, that are not listed here. Obviously, you can do it how you want to. And a great thing about Excel is that you could filter through it. You could say, okay, I want to just pull everything that's in L1 right now, or I just want to run the conduit just for L1 right now without having the whole conduit locator sheet open. You can filter it down. That is an awesome feature that Excel uses for those who haven't used Excel. Those who are experts or novice at Excel knows how important that filter and sort tool is. All right, moving on. Obviously, you want to start inputting your data when you get that information. Go through your markup drawings and input the details for each conduit and wire run into your spreadsheet. Assign a unique number system for each conduit that follows a logical sequence. I'm going to show you guys how I use the 3000 section of the numbers, 3000 to highlight, power. I think I use 2000 for lighting. So it will make sense later on. That's why I want to cover some of these bullet points before we get into it, so you're not totally lost, and also to build context around what we're trying to accomplish here. All right, calculating distance and wire size, another wonderful thing that you can have. So you have 18 runs of 1 inch, averaging, or you total it up, it's 5,000 feet. Boom. You're going to need 5,000 feet of conduit out there. So you might as well go ahead and get that, located close to where the guys are working at, have that ready, and all the other associated materials. That way you don't have to sit there and bring 2 or 3 bundles of 1,000-foot pipe that you may or may not need. So this will help you kind of control your inventory a little bit, control what you got going on out there, and that way you don't have too much material in one location or not enough material. So that's why that filter key is very important. So you want to estimate your distance based on your drawings using Bluebeam measurement tool to aid in this. Yes, Bluebeam does have a measuring tool where you can click from one point to another point and it'll give you the distance. Obviously, you got to calibrate it. And again, I'll show you guys when I do that video how that all works if you haven't used Bluebeam before. I'll specify wire sizes according to the load requirements indicated in your plans. Some of those runs may be longer, so you may need bigger wire, number 8 instead of number 10, or number 10 instead of number 12, or whatever that may be. You'll know exactly what you need, so you guys can look at that schedule and be like, okay, we need to pull number 8 over here to this HVAC unit, for an example. I know I mentioned earlier about tracking inventory. This tool, Conduit Locator Sheet, dealing with all the material associated with that Conduit Locator Sheet, will help you track your inventory to make sure you have enough pipe. There's nothing worse than running out of material when you're 80% done and you have to wait on the supply truck. That's the worst thing. So planning is very important. Staying ahead of the game. Just like with anything, as much time as you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. If you put a lot of time in it in the beginning and you're really, putting your best foot forward, this will help you. If you're just going to be like, oh, well, I'll go with the flow, then you're going to run into problems. So you want to update your spreadsheet as materials are purchased or installed. Now, earlier we talked about the benefits of this system, and I think we covered some of them during the course of this presentation. But I really want to just stress, increase efficiency. This systematic approach saves time and reduces the risk of errors in inventory management. It also reduces the risk of you missing something that you didn't catch because you didn't do the Conduit Locator Sheet. You're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen, but you want to minimize those mistakes. Just remember, every time you got to go back and redo something, it costs money. So you don't want to be, a liability. This also enhances blueprint reading. Using this method improves your ability to read and interpret electrical drawings, as well as architectural, civil, hardscape, reflective ceiling. All those drawings you have to consider when you're doing electrical work. We got electrical devices and components in every aspect of the job everywhere. So the more you know about the job in reference to the drawings and what is being installed by other contractors, the better you are at finding problems and preventing them from ever happening. Better control of inventory, like we keep stressing. Tracking materials and installation status helps manage resources effectively. All right, guys, I didn't want to make this video too long. I just want to kind of give you some context before we jump into the next section of this. That way you have a better understanding. So hope this helps, and we're going to move right on to the next section of this video. All right, here we go, as promised. So what I have right now, what you're looking at, on the left here, you're looking at the electrical drawings that I've went through and I've added where I want my stub ups to land. And also I still have enough time. I actually do the end wall here too, but that's for a later discussion. We're just going to strictly focus on conduit locator sheet and your underground branch circuits going out to the location that you decide you want to stub them up at. So for an example, I have all down on my legend, I have different designations for different stub ups. In this particular case, I'm using 3000 as my power. So anything with the 3000 or 30 is going to be my power. Is going to be for my underground branch circuit. So remember how I was telling you guys earlier, if you do this ahead of time, you can see, how many home runs you have, and you can plan for that, and so on and so forth throughout the whole job, throughout the whole building. But we're going to take this for an example so I can give you the meat and potatoes of why this is important and why this can help you and why this is a very easy thing to lay out. You can use this strategy, and if you miss anything, you can go back and say, oh, you could correct it. So anyway, so here we are with 3000. We have where it's coming from, L1, 39, 41, 42. And as you can see over here on the electrical drawings, we have 39, 41, and 42. So we know we want to stub up in this wall. Also, we have, 1-inch conduit, and it's approximately 200 feet from the panel. Now, I'm still working on this, getting the lengths down packed, and that's important too, because by me doing that, by me getting the lengths, like I mentioned earlier, I could approximately know how much conduit and what size conduit I'm going to need to do this building based on the underground and what I have laid out on this conduit schedule. So, all right, so you have that information, you set it up, you stub it up. Now, what I would advise is that before you decide where you want to stub up, I would go ahead and look at the architectural drawings to make sure that you can stub up in this wall and make sure there's no, that it's either furred out or what the furred out stud is going to be, whether it's going to be, it could be hatch channel, it could be 3 5/8, it could be 6-inch studs, whatever. You want to make sure that you can stub up in that location. And again, we stub up, we set a box above the ceiling, and we branch out. Also, if you're looking to stub this up above ceiling, make sure that the ceiling is not a hard ceiling. So that goes back to being active and actively going through your drawings by just using the electrical in your layout. So what I mean by that is like evolution development. You're looking at a home run, you got that established, you're looking at the architectural drawing and a floor plan and making sure that you're able to do that. You're also looking at finished drawings, reflective ceiling plans. So all that ties into, hey, can I stub up in this location? That helps you, one, you're getting in tune with the electrical drawings. Two, you're learning the architectural drawings and the floor plan at the same time, and also the reflective ceiling plan and any kind of millwork, cabinets, and all that good stuff you could look at by just doing this sheet. Now, you may not catch everything, but at least you have a starting point and a reference to look at by just doing this conduit locator sheet here. It's a great tool to use. And again, I mean, you could give this to a guy who's a third-year apprentice, maybe a helper and apprentice. You can say, hey man, look, here's the drawing. All right, here's all the designations. Here's what, they don't even really need to know what circuits need to go in there yet. That's for you. That's for you when you get your wire pulling crew out there. But just laying out the conduit and saying, hey man, stub it here. The only thing you would need to do, well, not the only thing, one of the most important things you would need to do is you would have to go out there and lay out the walls. You throw some mason string up, say, hey, you can put some tape on that string and tell them, hey, that's 300, 3000, 3001, 3002. This is where all this is going to stub up at. However you want to do it. But at least you have a baseline of what you can go off of, how you can hand it off to your guys in the field, and how you could take that same list with your iPad and go back and you could check each location to make sure that the pipes are there, because the wire is going to be good. Because if you did a thorough assessment of what you need, you don't even have to worry about the wire yet. You just got to worry about getting the conduit stubbed up in the right place. So yes, so this right here is a great tool to use. Again, like I mentioned earlier, it also allows you to see how much, when you filter this out, let's go ahead and blow this up. When you filter this out, well, how much wattage do I need? Well, you can go here, click that, and you can say, okay, once you get all your links established, you click that in there and you got all the wattage that you're going to need for that area once you put all your links in. So you can say, well, I need 3,000 feet, 2,000 feet of wattage. You can have that already sitting on the side, ready to go, especially if you're doing a slab of this size, which is not really big. It's probably going to get poured in one shot. So that's the good thing about it. You want to do 3/4, you go down, filter it out, you see how much 3/4 you're going to need, and boom, you can have all that ready to go for your guys. And in the future, when all this gets built up and all the rough end gets ready, you can actually look at it and see how much wire you're going to need as well. So again, I'm combing through this right now. I'm still working on it. I thought it would be a great opportunity to kind of do a quick video on, using Excel, whether you want to call it a conduit locator sheet, a conduit wire schedule, whatever it is. Like I mentioned earlier, this is nothing new. Guys, old school guys used to do this by hand. Believe it or not, they used to do this by hand. And it was great. So nothing that I've came up with. I've just seen it over the number of years I've been working, doing electrical work, and I thought it's a great tool for guys starting out. It helped me a lot when I was doing underground. And again, we can, when you get Bluebeam, if you're not familiar with it, I advise you to see if you can get it and try to use it, and try to practice it. It's a great thing. A lot of the things that I like to do, especially when we're dealing with floor boxes, I like to draw in where I want my pipe to go. So for an example, I got floor boxes here. I want to tie those floor boxes together, and then I want to stub up in this wall, and then I also have a stub up coming up in this wall here. So I have two ways to get to the floor box if anything happens where a pipe get damaged, gets clogged, whatever the case may be. Doing this for a while, you learn little tricks of the trade that kind of, let me add another little 20 feet of conduit, because I've had this problem before where I've tied all my floor boxes in and then I get to the last two and I can't get to them because it's blocked or something happened or it got broken. So yeah, so this is a good little tool, and I probably would do another video on how to use Bluebeam, the basics, how you get these lines to do what they do, and how you get the arc in the lines, because it is a very good tool to use when you're sitting down and you're designing and you're coming up with your circuitry. We used to do this back in the day by hand and some stencils. So yeah, definitely the times have changed and made it a lot more easy for us to go ahead and do these layouts and do different colors so you can see, maybe you want to make one panel red, maybe you want to make another panel green, so you can actually get a bird's eye view of your drawings. And when you pass it on, the guys don't get too confused with a bunch of lines and everything running everywhere that are the same color. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you since I'm in the middle of working on it. I'm almost done with it. I'm making some changes. But yeah, it's a great tool, and like I said, I encourage anybody to use it, and just it makes your job a whole lot easier. But anyway, I'm not gonna take up too much time. Guys, be safe out there. Each one teach one when you get active. And just always remember, man, be better than you were the day before, and just constantly try to get better, and constantly get doing the best you can to get as much as you can out of this. It's a great field to be in. It's a great career. It pays well, but you got to put in the work. So anyhow, all right, guys, take it easy. And until next time, stay safe.